Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Akram Shaban. I hope you guys are doing great. Thank you guys for your support on the recent video that I uploaded. Really amazed by the amount of people over there, and make sure you also subscribe on the channel because there's a lot more in the cover. But without further ado, we have to keep going here and keep you guys up to date with news. All right, so we got Bitcoins at $70,000 right now. It's going up, and there's a lot of news about it too. So great stuff. XRP is at 52 cents, and we got Stellar's at 9 cents. All right, moving on. All right, so Ederson has this out. The XRP LAMM is experiencing an extreme increase in volume the last couple of days because of meme coins being traded. Of course, now I've seen a lot of people right now trading on the firstledger.net. So there's a lot of movement right now on the XRPL. Huge. But there's a lot of meme coins that are getting traded, through the XRP ledger. But hey, it's good to see, but also meme coins pretty difficult to make money of, especially it's not even trustworthy. I don't advise anybody, and I'm not your financial advisor. You invest your own risk. This is just for entertainment purposes. However, meme coins are not a good investment, you might say. You could try, you could not, but just make sure what you're doing and be careful what's going on, because when there's meme coins, there's rug pulling. Trust me. All right, moving on here. This is by Verson. This is actually important, by the way. I seen this earlier. He says, so many currencies in the mix. There certainly need a bridge to connect it all. And once again, XRP is the key to the BRICS expansion. Look at this. This is a nice picture going on. It's like BRICS currency. That's crazy. All right, so moving on. Altcoin Daily. Dubai is a leader for Bitcoin and crypto. No capital gains tax, no tax on crypto transactions. Crypto salaries approved in Dubai. So Dubai is innovating quickly than any country currently right now, especially because Dubai is part of the BRICS. And no capital gains tax, no tax on crypto, and crypto salaries approved in Dubai. However, if we want to pull out our gains from cryptocurrency, they will take almost half of that, what you gained. For example, you made $1 million on crypto, they take probably like $300,000 or $400,000 around there, like just tax. So this is crazy to see how Dubai is leading for Bitcoin and crypto. So, Bitcoin is crypto, so everything. But it might also be XRP, because XRP Ripple is, with Dubai. So, and Dubai is accepting this XRP protocol, and they're amazed by it and what it can do. All right, just what I was saying right here, breaking a $70,000 Bitcoin went up. It's insane to see this, but we'll see how it goes and how it's gonna play up the market. Some people said SHIB to the moon. I think that's Shiba Inu token, but Bitcoin is going up. All right, so more of this news. Clayton is now a crypto cowboy. Unbelievable. Digital asset investor had this out, but I want you guys to take a listen. So without further ado,
Clayton, the Republicans are the big beneficiaries of crypto PAC money. It's an interesting turn of events over the past, 4 to 6 years. What you make of it?
Well, I think it makes sense. Makes sense because it's clear that the Republican agenda is an agenda that's going to favor the adoption of this incredibly promising technology, and not just promising, proven, Larry. We see it every day in stablecoin around the globe. This is not pie in the sky. This is something that is working and should be brought to our markets. This can make our markets, particularly our markets that are at the, what I would say, the cash end of the spectrum, work incredibly well. Think about what stablecoin is doing around the globe. It used to take days and lots of money to send US dollars around the globe. You can do it instantaneously for nothing. The same thing is going to happen to our funding markets, Larry. It's going to happen to the Treasury market. It's going to happen to the commercial paper market.
So as a former SEC chair, you think it's safe and sound?
I think the technology can do the regulatory job better. We just, as regulators, need to work with the industry to make that happen. So not only is it going to be more efficient, it's going to do the regulatory job better.
And you can weed out the crooks, because obviously there have been some horrible stories. I don't have enough time to go through it.
We should weed out the crooks.
You'd do that anyway.
Markets work better when you weed out the crooks.
And you'd stop the Fed and the Treasury from running everything. I mean, I don't want the central bank digital currency. I'm a Hayekian, if anyone knows what that is, Friedrich Hayek, Nobel Prize winner. Let's have some competition among currencies. Free markets, as you say.
And when I say stablecoin, I don't mean a government digital currency. I mean a bank or another creating a digital currency with competition.
You know, I don't think he always believed that. He's really come around in recent years,
Yeah.
Senator. You've had a terrific influence on Jay Clayton. You know, White Shoe Law Firm in New York, SEC chairman, very stiff collar guy. Listen to him. He sounds like a crypto cowboy.
Maybe.
Rodney, first of all, one last point. On the politics here, Ohio. Cryptos are giving a lot of money. Bernie Moreno I guess he was in the blockchain game at some point. I don't know enough about it. But Sherrod Brown, the head of the banking committee, your Democrat colleague, is very much against the crypto story. So Ohio is going to be a big battleground for them.
Oh, yeah. Sherrod Brown's against crypto, along with Elizabeth Warren. She might be more anti-crypto, but Bernie Moreno's got a great chance. I think it's even up. Bernie's going to make a great senator. I think he's going to win this race, Larry. If this is a fair shot for a senator to win in a state that's evened up, Bernie Moreno's going to win.
Rodney.
All right, you guys heard that right. So I want to put my input, my 2 cents on this. However, I want to say that's good to see. There's a lot of conversation here. Jay Clayton is now a crypto cowboy. So. But regardless of what's going on, regardless of this Elizabeth Warren agenda and anti-crypto is all bullshit. We already know what they're doing. They're, the real thing here is like we are heading to the same system, whether we like it or not. There's gonna be people like not liking it, regardless Jay Clayton or not. But yeah, as we see right now. They're just slowly revealing the new system, behind the curtain. So, and actually, we have a Jimmy Valley saying here as well. He tweeted this: "This makes me physically ill to watch this. The real Cowboy Jack Clayton will be revealed." Yeah, I feel you on that, Jimmy Valley. All right, so moving on. Bravo Research has this out. U.S. government debt market collapse has started. This massive implications for the economy at Thread. So U.S. Treasury bond market, look at that. It's going down. Look at that. Collapse. So as you guys all also know that all countries right now are selling U.S. Treasury bonds and everything, right? And moving away from the dollar quickly and slowly it's actually like a snowball effect. Things are escalating much more, so especially right now with this election going on. All right, there's another one right here as well. So he completes it with U.S. government bonds have broken below a 40-year uptrend after experiencing one of the most painful bear markets since the 1980s. Holy crap. All right. Treasury bonds, typically 40% of an investor's portfolio, have led to big losses because of their sharp decline. All right. And since March 2020, gold has outperformed bonds by 100% amid surging government spending. Government spending has risen from 3.4 trillion to almost 4 trillion in just 2 years, which of course explains why gold is in an all-time high right now. It's insane how much gold is an ounce. Constantly rising government spending financed by issuing more treasury bonds is a major problem. This has caused bond prices to drop significantly. Boom. And another one right here, treasury bond issuance is expected to hit $1.9 trillion. This level is higher than even the peak of the 2008 financial crisis levels. Holy crap. Our long-term bond outlook is bearish, but with the ongoing rate cuts, bonds could bounce. All right. A key factor that's driving the long-term breakdown in bonds is the decline in labor force participation rate. Right? And since 1999, this metric has shown a strong negative correlation to U.S. government debt. And so on. Okay, this is so much information right here. So much. But yeah, you can guys pause the video and take a look at this, because oh my god, with the U.S. population aging and more people retiring, labor force participation is likely to decline further. This would further increase government debt unless spending changes. Boom. Holy crap. Okay, so yeah, you can guys pause and take a read. We gotta keep it going. Moving on, this is by Verson, has this out. Putin said there was no alternative to SWIFT, yet to 2022, SWIFT began integrating Ripple's protocol, favoring XRP's utility, and now documents from the Central Bank of Russia, which I have covered in my previous videos, by the way, that they're using Ripple's protocol, link XRP to Project Mbridge that I also covered on my previous video, and BRICS payment frameworks. All right, XRP is the level playing field. I want you guys to take a listen. This is actually fascinating.
Anton Vernitsky, Channel 1. More on the financial interaction of BRICS countries. Was a common investment platform and the creation of an alternative payment system discussed? Was there talk of an alternative to SWIFT? Thank you.
As for SWIFT and some alternatives, we have not created and are not creating any alternatives for anyone. Nevertheless, the issue is very important today. One of the key problems is the issue of settlements. Therefore, we are moving towards the use of national currencies, which is well known. Regarding settlement systems, we are using the already established Russian Financial Information Exchange system created by the Central Bank of Russia. Other BRICS member countries also have their own systems, and we will use them as well, and are already using them. We will develop this cooperation. However, we are not inventing any separate common system yet. What we have is generally sufficient. It is only necessary to make timely and appropriate decisions at the administrative level. We discussed this with colleagues and will continue on this path.
Anton Vernitsky.
All right, you guys heard that right. So, crazy stuff to see, and what Putin says in the translation here. But yeah, they're going to be working. You know, everybody has their own systems, of course, but they're all going to be working together. And that's great to see with this BRICS and, you know, Project Mbridge. So, moving on, Israel Prime Minister Netanyahu says, if Israel falls, other countries will fall with us. So I looked at this, and I really want to say this that is kind of important, and I have to. So hear me out. Now, the game and the play field here that Israel, the Prime Minister Netanyahu, is trying to do here, and especially Israel. Now, Israel controls a lot of the world, especially banking, which is the Jews. They control the banking, anything that is money related, and banks. And any threat to Israel, any threat to these individuals, other countries will fall with them. Now, the reason they say that is because they have the power of money, right, in banking, with that, they can use it and hold countries by their necks in case if they did something to them. So, I was saying, there's a lot of commotion that's going on, but they're trying to attack, Israel, and Israel is trying to initiate a war. And anything that happens really bad to Israel, they're threatening other countries that they're gonna pull them down with them, regardless. It's kind of like, if I die, you're dying with me. So, it's just I'm trying to talk about what is actually going on and revealing what it's behind these messages, what's actually their meaning to what's going on, of course, with the wars, because there's a lot of escalation of wars right now, especially when there's currency changes, and of course, the new technology, crypto, and the stable coins and the settlement procedure, which each country has to have a task with and have a settlement. So there's a lot of changes with the banking system. That means there's a lot of escalation of war, and they're still threatening these countries. If something happened to us, you're gonna die with me. So it's fucked up to see how these kind of people have this much power to control what's coming in, what's going out, especially financially, with every single country that is implementing central bank digital currencies, which how the Israel and the Jews control these banking systems, especially the central banks, digital currencies. That is going to be new, introduced to the world. Moving on. All right, this is Internet of Value. This is by Vincent Hayes. This is by an IMF video. But yeah, Subjective Views has this out. He just basically reposted it. Chair of the Bretton Woods Committee calls the Finternet a bold vision and touches on the following. All right, so let me just click on here and just say, yeah. So it says here, he said, global fast payments architecture, Project Nexus. That's kind of something I got to research about this one. 24/7 real-time gross settlement. Okay. Settlement, this is kind of important. A unified ledger, Project Agora. All right, so here, take a listen. This is kind of important. All right, I'm actually fascinated about this.
You are thinking about the second report in this series that the working group is going to release, and you're looking at the global fast payments architecture. So I thought maybe you would share a little bit with the audience today about kind of what problem, what hurdles the group is looking at, and maybe some of the early thinking around the recommendations.
So the G20 has looked at global payments, and they concluded that they were costly, complex, slow, and inefficient. And so they set some targets for the FSB and the CPMI, which is the group at the BIS that thinks about payment matters, to try to make progress to reduce the cost, increase inclusivity. And there's been some progress, but I don't think they're going to meet their objectives in terms of where they hope to get the cost of payments by 2027. The good news is there's a lot of good work going on. There have been a number of countries that have been very successful in developing instant payment systems, not just developing them, but also getting a take-up by their citizenry. Brazil, India, some of the Southeast Asian countries, they have instant payment systems that aren't just there in theory, but they're there in practice, and they're actually core to the payment systems. In other places, like the United States, like Europe, there are instant payment systems, but their share of use in terms of domestic payments is de minimis. And so it's a little hard to have an integrated global instant payment system if people in big regions like Europe and the US are not using them. So I think one conclusion of the paper is we got to figure out a way to make the instant payment systems in the important economies of the world more successful. I think the BIS has done a lot of great work through the BIS Innovation Hubs. They have a project called Project Nexus that actually is really, I think, very well thought through in terms of how you would actually knit these national instant payment systems together. They propose they I think conclude correctly that a hub and spoke system is a lot better than a whole bunch of individual countries trying to manage bilateral relationships with other countries, because obviously the number of linkages, if you do it bilaterally, goes up geometrically relative to just linking to a central hub. So I think the BIS is very much on the right track. But the problems are really getting the national instant payment systems viable. And two, making sure that the central banks keep moving towards 24/7 real-time gross settlement. Because if you don't have real-time gross settlement, you're always going to be left with some residual liquidity settlement risk in your instant payment systems. So that's another aspect where we need to do a little bit more work. There's another much broader vision that we're going to consider in the paper, which is the idea of a finternet. So an internet that's for financial assets more broadly. The idea of the finternet, and this is something that Augustine Carstens has written and talked a lot about, who's the general manager of the BIS. This is where you basically take a financial asset and you represent it as a token, and the tokens would be able to be settled on a unified ledger. And those tokens would actually be able to embed smart contracts that would execute automatically when a given set of conditions was triggered. It's a very different regime than just linking instant payment systems together. It's probably a more bold vision, but we're probably 20 years away from that if everything goes really, really well over the next coming decade. So it's more of a vision than, and we don't really have a path to going there. Although the BIS has also been pretty important here. They have a project Agora where they've basically partnered with the IFI to bring together some private banks to figure out how could you actually take this forward. So I think we're making some progress, but the progress is slower than what is desired.
All right, so my input on this. First of all, it's insane to see this right now, and especially that I have some homework to do. I gotta research much more on this, and of course come back with another video and present it to you guys if I found anything. Sometimes I want to really like to dig deeper and find things that nobody found and trying to present it. And of course, I have you guys the first people to know about it. But speaking of this, so my take on this right now. This finternet things, I think it's kind of like a tokenization of the whole internet as we know it, right? And now, of course, what I mean by that is, for example, X, this platform, they're trying to implement this crypto payment system, and especially Amazon. Amazon also is going to be using and partnering with Ripple, and everything is going to be tokenized. That's what I'm looking at. I mean, of course, when you go buy things online, you have payment methods like credit card, or you want to finance it, or I think it's like a finance payment method. But there will also be another method where you can pay by crypto. And now, also when he said within that 20 years, or like you said, like next decades. Now, of course, I don't know how old this video is, but however, I need to find more about this video, but it should not be that old, like 20 decades, honestly. But yeah, as we're seeing right now, things are escalating, so it's not even a decade. Like we're looking at 3 to 2 years here, especially the 2025. Of course, there's going to be a lot of escalation, especially also this coming November. We're going to see the elections, so it's going to be a big part in what we've been talking about. All right, that was a mouthful. All right, we need to move on here to keep you guys entertained. Subjective views. When the time comes, XRP's role will be revealed to the world we already knew. So it says right here, look at that. Ripple, avoid pre-funding with instant settlement. Look at that. Look at that. So, of course, Ripple is a great asset, great digital asset. And how it is avoid pre-funding with instant settlement. So XRP gives them that. All right. Blockchain-based cross-border payments, permissioned blockchain impact on the ecosystem. Low cost, gas, less transaction can be a good alternative to prevailing transfer mechanisms supported by local CBDC where possible. All right. This was at the BRICS Summit 2024. Indian Prime Minister Narendra made a pitch for the unified payments that we were just speaking about, and especially the video we just saw. So I don't wanna have this played.
He just wrapped up a BRICS summit. Russia hosted leaders from.
But hold on, let me just kind of skip through it here because it's kind of important as well.
Needs to be transferred, the bank details of the recipients, and so on. So you have those details. Now it is your job to make sure that the money ends up in the right. More than 11,000 banks and financial institutions use the SWIFT system. They are based in more than 200 in the US, in Dubai. UPI stands for Unified Challenge.
Wait.
Adopt the UPI. Would India?
Holy
UPI stands
crap.
for Unified Payment System.
Hey, this is not planned. I'm actually just learning and looking at this specific news that's put out in this video.
It is the backbone of digital payments in India. So far, own set of challenges. Like how would a single platform challenged? What?
Holy crap. All right. Actually, hold up. I need to repost this. This is insane. I'm gonna repost this. I think that's on the same video, but yeah. All right, this is crazy. You can guys also go to subjective views and look at what he posted out on there. All right, so moving on. Max Avery says this. Stephen Thomas, former Ripple CTO, announced he's working on a new version of Codius. This is huge for the XRP Ledger ecosystem. Here's why it's a big deal. So he has this all out. I'm not gonna read all of them, obviously, but we're gonna just skim through right here the most important stuff. Cool stuff about Codius: centralized hosting run programs on multiple hosts, recreating a peer-to-peer network for services. Built-in billing programs can pay for their own operation. Language flexibility, writes smart contracts in popular languages like Java or C++. And yeah, why is it significant for the XRP ledger? Off-chain smart contract execution. Codius can process contracts off ledger. Wow. Reducing load on the XRP ledger and maintaining high transaction speeds. Cross-ledger compatibility. Interact with multiple blockchains simultaneously. So, holy crap, this is actually much more nerdy stuff than I expected. But this is actually good to see. There's a lot of, like, even though it's a new, of course, XRP ledger protocol, and XRP protocol is amazing to see how this digital asset can work and be cost efficient and not high in energy consuming. And to also add on it too, to see these other technologies that is helping it achieve what XRP and Ripple is looking for is fascinating. Moving on, subjective views. A Bank of England Governor Andrew Bailey says Bitcoin isn't a credible medium of exchange and does not have singleness of value. So, without further ado, just take a listen.
Andrew. Well, thank you. I really want to thank the G30 for setting this panel up, because I think it helps to underline what an important subject this is currently in the world of central banking. I'm going to start with two propositions in the world of payments, which I think attract very broad support, that are important to say, and we've already covered them actually in the previous panel as well as this one. I think the first is that there is a strong need to modernize some key payments practices, and in doing so, an opportunity to improve efficiency and reduce cost. And that's true for domestic and cross-border payments. It's true for wholesale and retail. But I think there is a particularly pressing need, and Shaktikantal's just referred to it, in the area of cross-border payments, because progress on modernization there has been very slow. My second proposition really picks up on what Shaktikantal was saying. In modernizing, we have a golden opportunity to harness.
I'm going to skip it here a little bit just to fast forward the time here, because time is ticking.
Harness the potential of digital technology. And frankly, if we don't do that, then I think we're going to suffer a failure of imagination.
Wow. Okay. Then that means they're forced to do these kind of innovations, and there's no turning back.
there is, I think, real potential here for payments in digital technology. If you take areas like solving late payment for firms by... So I think the case for harnessing digital technology is made. So a starting proposition is that actually I don't see that we need to change the system fundamentally as a matter of principle, but as a matter of practice, there are outcomes, I think, under which it may be necessary.
All right, so it won't be like fundamental changes. So it's kind of like just adding on to the fundamentals. All right, moving on.
But I think a first best endpoint is, do we need to do it? Not sure, we do. So let me start at a few points on what I call the nature and role of money. It's a bit of this system is that those two forms of money are fully aligned in nominal and real terms. I think the BIS actually developed this term, which is a really helpful term called, I call it the singleness of money. That those two things are aligned is critical to the system. It's critical to the monetary system, critical to the financial system. And of course, it's achieved by a mixture of central bank operations, bank regulation, deposit protection. Now, I would assert that with singleness of money assured, for low value and retail transactions, we should be pretty indifferent at the margin to whether a payment is made in commercial or central bank money. Payment can, of course, be made in something that isn't money, but since it wouldn't have an assured value, this is not, to my mind, really a credible means of exchange. And I think that is, for instance, one reason why we have not seen something like Bitcoin take off as a general medium of exchange, because it doesn't have that singleness of value.
Okay, right. Oh, that's a lot. That's a lot. I mean, I need to look at this video much more and actually not, always skip through it. But I skipped through the most important stuff, and especially the end. But yeah, you guys know what he said, and I definitely with that what he just said, I buy it. But moving on, this is also an extension of the video. I watched this panel discussion 2 days ago. This is not exactly how it was communicated. They basically threatened the commercial banks to evolve or die, similar to when Lagarde said they would be cannibalized. Bank of England to press on with digital currency in case banks fail short, Bailey says. So yep, same guy, Andrew Bailey. But yeah, from what am I seeing right now, yeah, they're basically threatening the commercial banks to evolve or die. So if you're not gonna evolve, get ready to die. So there's a lot of people right now, especially who's listening to me. There's a lot of people who are denying these changes, that they're denying that these things are going to happen. Well, what you could see here, there's a lot of threatening going on to the banks. If commercial banks, if they're not evolving and implementing these technologies, they're going to be shunned out, right? And I also had research that I found out, and Verson, of course, put me, and he posted the research that I found out, that they have to also implement Ripple technology, Ripple protocol. They have to. If they don't, they're going to be shunned out completely off the space. So that also confirms my research and what I found. There's a lot of push here, because it's no turning back. All right, so we're gonna end up with this one at the G30 39th annual International Banking Seminar. The South African Reserve Bank governor was asked to speak about the BRICS currency and payment system. I found his response interesting overall, but particularly the end where he said, "A currency without borders, without a central bank, is going to be an interesting currency to go with." Take a listen.
To Letitia, we've all heard a lot about the BRICS currency in recent days and the alternative payment system. Probably you can't tell us too much about that. But the question, if I'd like to frame it like this, does the practical implementation of some kind of non-dollar standard, does that depend more on the BRICS countries themselves or on what the United States either does or does not do?
I think the first David's question from the street. This is what everyone's talking out there in the streets of Washington and around the world is the BRICS currency discussions and the motivations and the drivers behind it.
Let me find a less controversial way of putting it. My BRICS...
We were talking about transparency and talking to people.
My BRICS counterparts ask me, where does this thing originate from? So as central bankers in the BRICS community, we ask ourselves, whose idea is it? And we can't tell exactly whose idea it is.
That's reassuring.
Right? But it turns out that ministers of foreign affairs seems to have mentioned and talked about this. And I've got no doubt with some political commitment the thing might happen, but it's just so way out. I mean, let's put it this. As the central banks, we have been talking about the interoperability of our payment systems. That is where we're spending our energy. Talking about cross-border payments. That's where we're spending our energy. We've not been talking about a currency. In any case, as central bankers, we can't determine the currency. Currency is a political project. So somebody must make a political call and say that that is what is going to happen. But just looking at what has been happening with BRICS, we have got a swap line with the People's Bank of China. They have got a renminbi clearing center in Johannesburg. If there is a shortage of RMB, they will put RMB into the trading system. And if there's a shortage of rand, we would do the same. The Indians have been talking about that, and we'll put a swap line with the Indians. And the BRICS have got a contingency reserve arrangement where we would cooperate on this. And we have tested this thing, and it works. Suffice to say, one of the countries couldn't quite settle because they are excluded somehow, somewhere, and so we can't deal with that, and so we are tuned into the global project, and I must declare my conflict of interest because I chair the FSB's cross-border payments committee. So my own interest and bias is towards the payments and making sure that we have got functioning, efficient, cost-effective payment systems cross-border. And that is where I focus on. And it's within the remit of central banks to do that. Currencies, politicians will have to take a decision elsewhere. A currency without borders, without a central bank is going to be an interesting currency to go with.
All right, so we'll definitely see what's going on here, of course, once the central banks... now, of course, he said a currency without borders, without a central bank is going to be an interesting currency to go with. However, we don't know because there's going to be a lot of course, central bank digital currencies. You know, when there's digital currencies, there has to be a central bank, CBDCs. It's a known thing. So, but yeah, this concludes the video. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys are enjoying my videos because I thank you guys again for the previous video. But I just have to keep going and have to keep you guys up to date of what's going on. But this is going to be it for me. Hope you guys are, doing great. And we'll definitely proceed. And if you guys want me to cover any topics, make sure you comment down below, and I'll meet you guys down there, of course. But without further ado, thank you guys for watching. Thank you so much. Be safe and have a great day or night, wherever you guys are. Take care.